Hi, my name is Stephanie from The Well-Doing Mama. I am the mom of 8 kids, ages 22 down to 6, and my goal is to encourage you in homeschooling and homemaking. I am coming to you today from a parking lot because I have kids at summer activities, and my little ones I left at home, and I heard a great quote today, and I wanted to share it. So this will probably be fairly short, but I just wanted to share a little bit of encouragement in homeschooling, or really in parenting with you. So the name of my channel is Well-Doing Mama, based on the verse in Galatians 6:8. Do not be weary in well-doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. And so I want to encourage you in not being weary in the well-doing, because I will tell you, I get weary in the well-doing. I've been parenting for 22 years. It is a lot. And sometimes I'm like, didn't I teach this lesson? Yes, I did. I probably taught it 4 times already. And now kid number 5 or whatever random kid needs to learn this lesson. And so we can't get weary in all of those things. So, but where this quote comes from, I was listening to, Brooke and Israel Wayne, this is one of their books, Raising Them Up. It's written by Israel Wayne. There's a few sections in there that his wife wrote, and they're labeled that she wrote them. They spoke at our homeschooling conference this last year, and they were super, super encouraging. But one of the things I really liked about them is that they were not dogmatic or legalistic in their teachings. Because so often I find that, especially, I don't know that I read a lot of non-Christian parenting books, but I read a lot of Christian parenting books. And they were so dogmatic or legalistic. If you do this, this will be the result. You do this, this will be the result. Now, over a lifetime in generalizations, those things will happen. But kids also have free will, and kids will do naughty things, and they'll become adults, and they won't always be perfect, because we'll never be the perfect parent. So that's why I really like them. Now, I want to say that anything that we do can never be done in our own strength. I do not have the strength to do anything. We're studying Colossians. I wish I had my Bible, because I can't use my phone right now because I'm recording on it. We're studying Colossians at church this summer for our ladies' Bible study. And Colossians 1 talks about, there's a verse in there about the strength. And our strength being from the Lord. I think it was in there. It was in the study this week, so if it wasn't in that, I'll try to look it up and put it in here. But our strength is always from the Lord, and always doing His will. So one of the things that the Lord has told us to do, my husband and I, is to homeschool our kids. So He will provide that strength and that energy. So the quote I heard today, so where does all this lead to? The quote I heard today is, it was from their podcast. Brooke and Israel Wayne's podcast their podcast is called Raising Them Up. Also, not Raising Them Up, just the podcast is also called Raising Them Up. And the quote, it's a question and answer podcast, and the question was about, should Christians be in the public school realm to redeem the public schools? And their answer was no. Now, I'm not going to say nobody should. I know some people who go to school board meetings and try to fight the good fight. We have some really small school districts, and I think sometimes in those small school districts, you can win out. It's kind of like, I think even Heidi St. John talked about, I'm going to try to turn my air down just a little. I think she won like a spot on their library board and in her state. So those things, I'm not saying Christians should avoid the public realm, or public service, or public school serving. I'm not sure about that. That's not where we feel called to spend our time and energy, but I'm not judging somebody else if that's where they want to. But the quote that was in there, but I am a big believer that Christians should be homeschooling. That is where God has called us. Maybe not every Christian's been called to that. I'm not going to be the judge between them and God. But the quote was, we need to stop shining the Titanic and start putting the kids on lifeboats. I love that. Stop shining the Titanic. So the Titanic is sinking, and the public school system in general, if you look up the stats on it, whether it's academic stats, social stats, the doctrine that they're putting into the public school system. I'm also reading another book about that, but that's another story. it's a sinking ship. It's not doing well. I saw an article today about how states that are giving school vouchers for private school use, the public schools are starting to fall apart in some of those places. So the Titanic is sinking. The public school system is just getting worse and worse. And rather than spend our time shining it, what if we spend our time putting the kids on lifeboats, building lifeboats? So building support systems for Christian education. So there's a lot of ways that support system could look, right? That support system could look like a Christian school. In fact, I look at some areas. Our area does not have great Christian schools to choose from that are at all affordable. That's why we never even looked at that as an option. But I look at some areas that have had, a great Christian school for 30 or 40 years, and you're like, wow, what a great thing that they put time and energy into. But that time and energy has to start somewhere, right? So what if that was or whether it's Christian homeschool support groups for Christians in areas. So is putting forth the effort to build a good, solid homeschool community so that the younger people coming up want to be part of that community. They see that community. Because guess what? The school communities exist. People are forced into them and they're told, here's your community, and they get to know those people because it is there. What if we created that community for homeschoolers? And in real life, now there's some great online community, and it's neat to see what other online people are doing, but real life community matters. And so I will tell you, I did not write notes on this. So this is just like a heart pouring out. So that's what you get today. So like starting your own, and it can be simple. So here's my encouragement to you. If you do not have homeschool community where you're at, start building it. So how would you build it? We've heard the phrase, there's a big phrase lately, if you want a village, you got to be a villager. So be the villager. I used to, and I've done most of these things that I'm going to say. So have a homeschool mom's night. Most likely your local area has some kind of homeschool moms Facebook group or whatever. Put it out there. Just put it out there and be like, hey, I'm going to host homeschool mom's night. I'm going to provide popcorn and cookies. Come chat and enjoy our time together. I'm going to host homeschool wiffle ball in the park for ages 6 to 10. Come join us in the park and play wiffle ball. And the little kids can play. Bring your dinner and come play. Those little things. I'm going to host homeschool park days. Here's where we're going to meet at the park. Come join us at the park. And then you just keep doing it, and your people will eventually show up. It does require work, and it does require effort, but you've got to at some point put the work and effort in. Somebody has to. It's really great if you can find one or two friends who want to do this with you. If you can say, hey, I'd really like to build some better community. Can you help me? Can you commit to going to the park with me these next 4 Thursdays at 3? And then we'll invite everybody we can. And then when people come to the park, there's already 3 people there. It's a group, and you suddenly are starting to build your group. Not everybody is going to be committed. I will tell you that we've had so many moms who say, oh, I need community. And we're like, hey, here's our park days. And they don't show up. I can't make people show up, right? I can't make it be people's priority. But putting it out there will help you find your people and help you build that. So you're building that lifeboat of community and encouragement for other people, because I think that's the piece that we need to carry on. And one of my goals as an older homeschool mom at this point is to help the next group coming in to have that homeschool community and encouragement. So my encouragement, I guess today, this is not totally the direction I thought I'd be going, but we need to think about how can we encourage other people in their homeschooling journey, and how does that encourage us at the same time, because it's always easier to do it if somebody else is. Homeschooling is very, very hard. That's the other thing, is building a lifeboat, whether it's just the lifeboat for your family. I'm just going to build this lifeboat for my kids. I'm going to give my kids that best education possible. It is hard. It is not an easy job. And it is so easy to go, I wish there was another option. Oh, there is another option. It's free and you just drop your kids off. This is where you have to be truly convicted that this is God's will for your life and that you are going to use His strength that He gives you to do this, because it doesn't come easily. It is hard work. There are great days, and I look back on some of our really fun days, and even now it's like, oh man, this was a really great day. We did all these great things. But there are also the really hard days, the days that English lesson doesn't click and make any sense, the day that there's no way that 7-year-old boy is going to sit down and do that math lesson because he just has so much energy, and we're going to go on a bike ride and we're going to wear off a little energy and we're going to build relationship today, but we're coming back to the math tomorrow. The day where you go, oh, how do we apply for college? What do I need to do to make a transcript? Can my kid do this? Yes, they can. So where do we put our energy? We each only have so much energy. Do we put our energy in trying to reform a very broken system that is sinking? Or do we put our energy into building and sustaining the lifeboat that we can, something we have so much control and influence over? Because once we build this lifeboat, we get to build it and use it as we want. It's our lifeboat. We don't have to accommodate other people's desires and wishes for how our children should be raised. We get to set those standards. What books do I want my kids to read? How much time do I want to spend together? I want to take today and have a game day. I've done that several times where it's just like, today is game day and we're just playing games. As they get older, I find it harder because, oh, well, Mom, I gotta get through all these lessons. And so sometimes we might even cut something out so we can spend time building our relationships and building that lifeboat where then our kids can go out into the world and thrive. That lifeboat then carries them into the next season where they're out there serving God on their own. And I get to see that in some amazing ways now with some older kids. And it's such a neat thing. So when you have these little kids, and it is hard work, and you're like, wow, I'm doing this. Yes, you are doing this. And on the hard days, lean into Christ. I know that sounds just like, lean in. No, fall on your knees and be like, Lord, I can't do this. Usually it's falling on your bed. Lord, I can't do this. And He is going to provide you the strength and the energy and the encouragement that you need to keep going. But build that group around you, those friends around you that you can call. Find an older homeschool mom that you can say, today's been a really hard day. Tell me this is worth it. And she can go, it's worth it. It is worth it, friend. And you can keep doing it. Take a deep breath. Go get some ice cream. You can do this. So it's kind of the choose your heart. Do you want to shine somebody else's sinking ship or build the ship that God has prepared ahead of time? He's prepared good works ahead of time for us to do. Do you want to build that ship He's prepared ahead of time for you, or shine somebody else's broken and sinking ship? I don't know. I thought it was a great quote. I'm sure this was a little rambly, but really my goal is just to encourage you. And I just thought it was a really neat quote. And I wanted to encourage somebody with it. So you guys get the encouragement of go out there and build your lifeboat and put your kids in it and sail to the next thing God is calling them to do and calling you to do. And that's a great place to put your time and energy, and you will not regret it later on. Thanks for joining us today. Please leave a comment if you have something else you'd like me to talk about or you have any questions. Please hit the like button and subscribe to see more videos about what we do.